Right. Welcome to the Konkering Podcast. We've got the home team back in our studio / office meeting room. Yeah, meeting room. All the above. We've got Maddie Cadman opposite me. We've got Mr. Tom Stewart to my left. Again, defined as the home team. Maddie, what are we talking about today? Give it to us.
Today, we are going to be talking about an article that I written at the beginning of the year, maybe last year. It's on our website. Plug. It's called No Applications to Your Job Adverts, Stop Using Descriptions. So both job descriptions and job adverts have their place in the process of bringing the right candidate to the table, don't they?
They do.
But if you use the former in the latter's place, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Would you agree?
I would agree.
What would you say is the difference between job adverts and job descriptions, Tom?
I'd say, to put it simply, a job description tends to be a list of requirements, responsibilities, and what that person's going to get up to on a daily basis. I'd say a job advert are all of the things that why this position is potentially going to be better than what they're currently going to do. It's an advert, it's an advertisement, it's there to engage and attract people to apply or take action and do some research. So it's got to be seen as that and not... I think the two just get confused a lot, don't they? People post job descriptions and think that they're posting job adverts.
Yeah. Job descriptions tell.
So to put it simply.
Job descriptions tell and job adverts sell.
Maddie, that is a brilliant one-liner.
Who came up with that? Bloody hell, we were all fighting earlier about who came up with that one. I think I won it, didn't I?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. But to give you a little stat, just to reinforce that message.
Loves a stat.
52% of job seekers say the quality of a job advert is very or extremely influential on their decision to apply for a job.
Yeah, and I think a good job advert can have a huge difference on attracting candidates. I know it sounds so simple, doesn't it? But the amount of adverts we see which are 5, 6, 7, 8 lines, few responsibilities, no attraction whatsoever. Who's going to apply to that? Who good in their right mind is going to apply to that? Especially if it's a very difficult person to find. Okay, maybe if it's a little bit more high streety and it's like, quite a, I don't want to say it, but a lower sort of skilled job. You are basically looking for somebody with that title. It might work, but I don't think we're talking about these sort of hires on this podcast, are we? We're looking for highly skilled, good people. But you would be surprised how many adverts out there are like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I think what made me really understand the difference between a job advert and a job description is a little analogy that I saw, which I will tell you all about. So a good way of understanding it is think of a job advert as you are sending out a product description for a potential chair that you're going to buy. You're a buyer and you're looking at chairs. So a product description will list information that might be important. So like how much back support the chair's got. But when you're browsing all of the different chairs, you don't want to be bogged down with like the fine details about the exact measurements and, how much back support that the chair's going to give you. You want to see like what colour it's going to be. Like those are the things that are going to attract the person to look at that chair in particular.
You want to know why that chair is going to be better than the chair you're currently on. Like
yes.
you want to know about the bells and whistles. Once
you've decided that that's the chair that you're thinking about, then you look into it in further depth.
And then you go and look at the specifications. Is it going to fit in the space? Is it, does it work the way I want it to work? Does it recline properly? But like you said, you want the bells and whistles first.
So where would you use a job description? Why would you use a job description opposed to a job advert? And then I'll ask you, Maddie, why do you use a job advert?
Because
they both have different places.
Got different places. A job description is something that is going to be provided to somebody once they've actually expressed some interest in the role. So, the advert is the thing that captures the interest, and then the job description gives them more details about the day-to-day of the role and what that would actually look like.
Yeah. The advert is what entices the candidate, and then the job description is the nitty-gritty of the job.
But I think if you went on to Indeed and scroll down through Indeed, I'm going to make up a stat, 80%.
Check it.
Someone check it. I reckon at least 80% would be job descriptions. It would be a list of requirements, a list of responsibilities, and it would be very, this is nice language, but it's very like we language, us, rather than you language, speaking about the reader, what's in it for them, why is it better than what they're currently doing, what they're going to achieve, what challenges are they going to overcome, how are they going to progress. All of those bits and pieces just won't be included.
I think with a job description and job advert, it's very much a mindset thing, because I think what a lot of companies do is they will put together a job description of things which they want, and they will assume that there are lots and lots of different people out there who want to work for them and want to apply for this position. So they don't think they need to attract people to their business. They'll put it out there on an advert and expect to get lots and lots of applications, good applications come through. Lo and behold, they'll get lots of applications which won't be right, and they'll get a bit sick of that whole process. If you switch your mindset to, we have to attract people to the business rather than people are going to want to come and work for us, which, let's be honest, the market, that is the market now. You know, it's a candidate-led market, isn't it? You have to attract people to the business. If you turn it around and talk to your potential hires, trying to attract them and what benefits them, it's a complete mindset. You will get people, you definitely will get people who will start applying to your adverts. You won't just get people that will start applying to your adverts, you'll get relevant people that will start applying to your adverts, and it will start making sense. And it's the tiniest little tweak that you need to make. It's a tiny little mindset shift. But I think where people have gone wrong is they've assumed people want to work for them. They've chucked the job description out, and they think if somebody thinks they hit the job description, fine, done, I'm in.
Do you also think, I don't know, this is a question I'm curious about, but do you think that a lot of employers have a job description, they've had that for years, it's easy to copy and paste up on the website,
post out the same old stuff, do you think?
And recruiting is a long process, it takes time, and do you think posting or creating a job advert is just another job that they've got to do to be able to get that hire?
Something that they're not. They would like to have somebody in the business, but we've got to go through the process of recruiting. They might have had a bad experience, they might have had bad interviews, they might have had a bad recruitment experience. Probably is.
I think a percentage will be people that it'll be a time constraint, but then I think there'll be a significant portion of companies that are hiring that just haven't had that mindset shift, that just don't think of it as an advert. And that's what they've always done, is posted descriptions, and that's what they put together and just posted again and again. So I think it's a big educational piece, actually. And I certainly try and have conversations with businesses. If we're speaking to them about a position that they're recruiting for, most of the roles within a lot of the disciplines and sectors that we recruit in are pretty similar. So once you know the industry, you kind of know what the job role is going to be. An architect for one business is going to be quite similar to an architect at a different business, although projects and different bits and pieces might change. But a lot of the core sort of responsibilities are going to stay the same. So the stuff that we want to find out about the most is what's good about working here, and why would it be better than where someone else is currently working?
Why is it different?
You've
got in an advert, you absolutely have to differentiate yourself from everybody else, because there are so many people recruiting now, aren't there? There's so many different positions out there. And like you say, architect, quite a well-known title, isn't it? You can post an architect title, you could be IT, you could be completely the wrong sort of sector. It leads on quite nicely. I did a little bit of research, a really, really quick search. I used the title project manager because it's quite generic, isn't it? It can go across many different sectors. Guess how many jobs are posted on Indeed, with the title in the UK, project manager?
Oh.
Just on that, my same face.
Oh, I don't know. Have a guess.
500.
Project manager titles in the UK.
Right now.
I am shooting in the dark.
To be fair, I wouldn't have a clue.
No.
10,000.
8,280.
Maddie,
Wow.
you win. 5 points to Gryffindor.
5 points to Gryffindor. There are that many titles. There are 8,280 titles, project manager titles, just in the UK. So if you're posting a job advert with the same title, with just responsibilities, who the flipping hell is going to find that and think, it looks really good, I'm going to apply to that?
And that's going to stand out from the rest of the other project manager jobs as well. Because there's so many.
Yeah, massively.
They'll just get bored.
Or like if 80% of people, like you say, which we're checking, are posting just job descriptions, 80%.
If you can look through all 8,000 of those and work it out,
80% of 8,000 project manager titles are just job descriptions. you're basically only looking at 20% of those, and even then, like, people probably aren't doing as well as they could in terms of like attraction. So I think a huge point of like putting a good job advert together and separating it from a job description and a job advert is to differentiate yourself amongst so many other adverts that are out there.
Yeah. And as easy as it was for you to do that research, people who are hiring for different positions that, you know, do have common titles that a lot of other companies use.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Hugely
do a quick
generic
search
titles.
and you'll know exactly what you need to be doing differently to stand out.
And let's be honest, so 8,000 titles, I know, I did the search a second ago. There's a million pages, you know, when do you ever get past the second? You know, so it's crazy numbers, isn't it, really? It's absolutely mental.
So what makes a good job advert? What can you do to put together
What to include in a good job advert?
Yeah.
That's a good question. You can put a whole range of different things in there, but I think some companies or even some recruiters actually worry about putting too many specifics in there to give too much away about their business. But I think you have to be as specific as possible because, again, it's all about differentiation, isn't it, really? And I think, you know, go back to your EVP, doesn't it? In our first mini series, you've got to understand what makes your business different and what makes your business worthwhile working for, and try and sell those benefits as much as you can.
Yeah.
On a general level.
Yeah, I would agree.
What else would you put in there?
I think that all of the above, plus just like things that about what people are actually going to achieve. And it's hard to like quantify that sometimes, but just talking about like specific problems that they might overcome, the approach to work. You know, people use buzzwords like collaboration and stuff all the time, but actually, you know, give some tangible examples about how your team do work together and what the culture is like. So I think all bits and pieces like that, because that's such a big thing for people, isn't it? Like, you know, they want to join a culture that are going to feel a part of something that's kind of greater than themselves. So
Yeah. I would totally agree. I think the more you can get your culture across, the more you'll find candidates that align with your company the best. And just another little stat, if the tone of your job doesn't match your culture, applicants are 2 to 4 times less likely to apply for the job.
I'd love to know how they come up with these stats.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
Well, that
how
one's
that
actually
works.
from LinkedIn.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, very simply, just break things down. You know, if I was a hiring manager listening to this and I'm trying to put together a job description or even a job advert, you know, what basics would we put in that? Salary has to be on there, doesn't it? I don't know the stats, but there's some silly stat where, I don't know, 1,000,000% of people won't apply to a job if it hasn't got a salary on it. It's obviously not 1,000,000, but it's a high percentage, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that makes a huge difference. So you're not actually going to get any applications if you don't be honest about what sort of salary is available.
No.
Number one.
Yeah.
I would be really specific with location.
Yeah.
You see some which maybe adverts say Bristol. Bristol's a big old place, you know, where in Bristol, because people need to know how they're getting to and from work. The reason why I do that is because if you put a location on which is far away from an applicant, yes, they may not apply to it, but is that commute sustainable for them anyway? If you put a location and it ends up to be very close to them, you've given them more incentive to apply to a job.
So would you say that a hiring manager needs to really nail down their essentials of the job role, and that should be in the job advert?
Yeah, what is in the responsibilities and like duties? Do you think that should be in a job advert?
No, I'm saying like it's essential. Like if like the location, for example, if it's essential that you want the candidate to come into work 5 days a week into the office, then that's essential, isn't it?
I think so, yeah, because then you completely eliminate all the grey areas. You know, if somebody applies to that job and it's 5 days a week and they only want to be in the office 3 days a week, they're not going to apply to it. But that's fine because you've weeded out the people that aren't interested, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to get maybe less applications, but the applications you get are going to be more specific.
Yeah.
So you've eliminated all of those grey areas. I think the type of things you want to put in an advert, you want to attract, obviously. You want people to know about your culture. And I think progression's a big one. You've already mentioned that, where they could actually go with this position and what's on offer, what training, support. These are all pretty basic things which have to be included in a job advert.
Yeah.
What would you add to that?
Just going to go a bit in the other direction, really, that as well. I don't think that sometimes it needs to be like, in not all cases, I don't think it needs to be massively long. Like, I think if it's just compelling and like to the point,
And it's got a really strong call to action.
and it's got a really strong call to action.
What would be a strong call to action?
Apply, call. Would it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a nice example here though of when an advert wasn't particularly long. And this is a campaign that Ikea ran. I don't know when they ran
Nice.
it. 2012, something like that. But anyway, it's
Recent.
called their IKEA Career Instructions. And essentially what they've done is they included in every set of flat pack furniture, all the flat pack boxes that they included a leaflet which was like IKEA Career Instructions, and all of it was modelled and templated after their like iconic instructions leaflet. And essentially it just went out, and in every box it's really simple, really basic, but just a nice call to action. It's almost used a lot of images, step-by-step process of somebody to apply, and then what they might achieve while working there. And I think, where is it? There's the stats here. It had 4,285 job applications off the back of it, and they made 280 hires
Wow.
just by putting a simple leaflet that
They're already doing.
they're already doing, that was engaging enough, that had a good call to action, that then people were incentivized enough to apply.
And they know people can put together their kit because they can follow
Already qualified.
instructions.
Yeah. Pre-qualification. Well, I've got an example that doesn't have a very clear call to action on it, and is actually Google's billboard that they had out in California, and they were searching for engineers to join them. So it was a mathematical equation.
Ooh.
And to me,
This is very Goodwill Hunting.
it looks like
Seen that? Has anyone seen that?
No.
Pat's seen it.
to me it just looks like random numbers and words. I think there was like the
Squiggles.
pi equation in there or something like that.
3.14 something. Hope that's right.
But to anybody who sees it and understands it, it basically gives you a website link for them to go online and
Oh,
go to
really?
the website. And then, which is like, that is directly a pre-qualification when they don't even know what they're even looking for. But
They're
they found
clever enough to
that's-
work out the
Yeah.
code or the sum.
Yeah, so already Google are only going to be able to see applications from people that they know have that knowledge. Then once they've reached the website, they have to do another challenge. And then if they've completed that challenge, they actually get a message from Google saying, "Nice work, well done, Mazel Tov. You've made it
Mazel
to Google
tov.
Labs, and we're glad you're here. One thing we learned while building Google is that it's easier to find what you're looking for if it comes looking for you. What we're looking for are the best engineers in the world, and here you are."
Wow.
I love that. That is a way of appealing to your target audience, the potential employees that you want to engage. Because I guess like what's an interesting point is you don't want everybody to apply.
No.
You don't want all people that are going to be irrelevant or not qualified, or you want to appeal to the right people.
Yeah.
You got to
And that
know
does that
where
really
you got to know
nicely.
where your people are.
Yeah.
And also,
I guess, sorry, just cut you off. I guess the IKEA does that almost in the same way, because if people buy the furniture, they know the brand, they like the brand, they're
Yeah.
buying the product, they're just more likely to engage with an opportunity and be interested in working there.
yeah.
But I think both of them, I've got a few campaigns as well, I'm sure we all have, but they all understand who their target audience are, and they know where their target audience are.
Yeah.
So it's such a big part of attracting talent. The bigger picture here, I suppose, is yes, we're talking about adverts, job descriptions, but where is your talent? If the best way to get that talent or engage with them is to post an advert, then post an advert. But there are definitely going to be other ways which you're going to be able to engage with them.
Yeah.
That's
And
for
I think
sure.
what's cool about those two campaigns is that oh God, I really don't know what this saying is.
Come on.
I'm going to say you give them a branch. and
Olive branch?
They take a
A leaf.
That saying?
Give them a branch, they take a leaf.
Give them a branch and what?
Do you know what the saying is? It's probably not branch, but you give basically.
Give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
That's exactly what
Where
I'm
were
thinking
you going
of.
with trees and
I
branches and
don't know.
leaves?
You were thinking about extending an olive branch,
Yeah,
weren't
I
you, for
think
some
you were,
reason?
yeah. I think
yeah.
that's maybe more so where you were going there.
Yes, but what I meant
They've given them the opportunity, and they've had to make the decision on whether they actually apply or not.
exactly that.
Wow,
Jeff.
olives.
That what we were just talking about appealing to the right people and those that are actually going to be right for you, just triggered something in my mind that I read recently. And this dates back to, I don't know when, but one of the early explorers, Ernest Shackleton,
Good lad.
good lad, he actually, do you know the story about what he posted in the paper?
I don't know.
So this was his advert in the paper, and it's recruitment essentially, but here's the advert. Men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return doubtful, honour and recognition in case of success. Ernest Shackleton, 4 Burlington Street. And
That explains the point of being specific in an advert so flipping well.
Yeah.
Because he knows he knew, it was a long time ago, anyone that applies to that knows exactly what they're getting into.
Yeah. And it's the right man for the job.
Yeah,
as
he's not getting hundreds and hundreds of applications, but the 2 that he does get, he's hiring. He's in.
So he's explained, exactly what's going to happen, and what's the reward? Recognition.
That is good.
Love that.
I love my little example here.
Come on, let's hear it.
I'm buzzing to say it. It was one of the first that I came across here. I think it's so creative, but it's VW, Volkswagen Group. I'll read off the thing here just in case I get it wrong. To tempt mechanics away from competitors, Volkswagen Group, working with some company, embossed secret messages onto faulty car parts and then sent them to be serviced at rival businesses.
Oh, wow.
When the mechanics found the faulty air filters or headlights or whatever they had embossed this logo on, they also found a QR code inviting them to apply to work at Volkswagen Group.
That's
How mental is that? So niche. Because the same as all of them, but if you're good enough to find it and find the faulty car parts, you're going to find the QR code.
That's just like the dark art of recruitment.
It's so dark arts, isn't it?
It's a bit shady, isn't it, that they're putting
It's so
sending it.
creative. Yeah, classic. I thought it was amazing because, again, they know exactly who they're going out for. They're being so targeted. They know exactly what they want. They've already qualified the people, like Ikea, like Ernie Shackleton, and the right kind of people are applying. And
Did you just shorten his name to Ernie?
That's what they call him, isn't it?
I don't know.
That's what his mates call him. But you're so specific, aren't you? You know exactly what you're getting. And again, it feeds back to a job advert. The more specific you are, you know you're going to get the right sort of applications. You're not going to waste your time sifting through 1 million people that are interested in the job aren't right for it.
It's interesting. Just read here. Do you want to know how many people applied to Ernest Shackleton's?
Yeah, I was actually curious that.
Guess.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I'd love to know.
10?
Yeah, I reckon even 2.
It had 5,000 responses.
No.
What? Back in the day as well.
I
in the
bet
day.
you would apply for that.
I think I would.
Yeah.
I think
Just for success and recognition.
God, I wonder how he whittled that down then. Imagine if he had posted
Online.
what he was actually doing, he would have got loads more.
Online.
What was it? Yeah.
Maybe post it online, not in the newspaper.
Well, it was a while ago. On the
I know,
line.
but if-
Post it on the line.
Oh, whatever.
5,000.
That's
That
crazy,
is
isn't it?
absolutely
Yeah.
mental. I bet a lot of people posted out of curiosity though, because you're sparking the old curiosity juices there, aren't you?
Those curiosity
and
juices.
people want to know what's going on there.
I
Yeah,
think the
love
common
that.
denominator here is to be specific, isn't it? And to take a bit of a risk. Like, that is quite a risk, being so ruthless with what the job is. Like, there's no benefits there to me as somebody who would not be interested in that job.
Yeah, I think that it is like you mentioned it about the tone, and I think the stat was
2 to 4 times less
likely to apply. And that's really interesting because I think as soon as somebody starts writing a job advert, they write it in a way that they would never talk.
Yeah.
Or like they would never speak to the people that are in the business at the moment. And I think we're all guilty of it. All of a sudden we go to try and write in like a really professional manner and think that this is
The right way.
the right way to do it. But I think that actually if the language that you can use represents you properly, then again it just ties back into the people that are applying are already going to be more aligned with you as a company, aren't they?
Yeah. Can I just share one more example, because I think it's a really good one.
Please do.
So I've got an example from the UK Army, and it's their recruitment campaign. And for this one, they were specifically aiming it towards millennials and the generation of millennials. That's the next kind of generation of soldiers that they're wanting
What
to
are
come.
we?
We're millennials.
We're millennials.
You're
So
millennials.
we're
This
the
is for
target
you.
audience.
Yeah.
I don't know if this would be aimed at you two though, but anyway, I actually think this was a bit of a risk, and it did get criticised heavily. But I'll tell you what it is. So it described millennials as selfie addicts, binge gamers, snowflakes.
This is Gen Z, isn't it? Not millennials?
Oh, I can't say that.
And then positively turned those into like interesting qualities. So like a selfie addict would be like they have loads of confidence. Binge gamers would be like they've got a drive to like finish the game. And snowflakes, they said that their quality would be compassion. So the marketing campaign looked like the I Want You campaign with the guy pointing.
Yeah. Love it.
So they had at the top, it was either whether you're a phone zombie, so like a selfie addict, or they literally had like snowflake or binge gamer. And then the tagline there would be a picture of a younger person in a soldier uniform. And underneath,
Rate my fit.
underneath it said your army needs you and your drive if you're a binge gamer, your army needs you and your compassion if you're a snowflake. And yeah, it got heavily criticised, but the number of applications jumped by more than 4,000 in 1 month, and just after 5 days of the campaign launching they had 2,700 applications.
I think I remember that,
Do you?
Yeah. When was it?
I don't know.
It's the snowflake part appealed to you.
That's what infuriated me. No, I'm not.
Yeah, again, it does. It sounds like it is just bordering on controversial, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's creating an emotion, though, isn't it?
But it's creating an emotion. And you've got to create an emotion for people to remember it and to take note of it.
I think that's quite like brave of the British Army to be calling a generation like snowflakes, and
it's almost like come prove us wrong as well.
yeah, it is.
It is. Yeah, definitely.
Like that.
Definitely. I got one last one here. It's not as good as my VW one, I don't think. But
Okay.
again, I think we got a message here. But the Australian Federal Police, and this was quite interesting, they partnered with a big YouTuber, won't say the name, but they created a crime podcast called Crime Interrupted. And they basically released an hour-long episode every week, which was packed with notorious criminal investigations. But they actually described all the skills required to go through each of these cases. So it's almost like a two-part thing there. They've got the job advert, which is like describing what you would do, how you would go through this case. And then the job description, describing all the skills required, what kind of people they need for this. And again, they increased applications from women in a month to 40% more. Podcast got more than 400,000 listeners, and they've attracted so many more people into the police, something which they're really struggling with. But again, it's just knowing where your target audience is, isn't it, really?
Yeah, definitely.
Like that.
So you've nailed the job advert. What's next? What's the next step for people?
Just go home.
No, I think it starts before that. I think the crux of what we've got here is job advert is one medium in which you're able to attract talent.
Okay.
Know the difference between a job description and a job advert, but if you know where your audience is beforehand, that job advert, let's put it in a bracket, and could be any sort of medium, couldn't it? It could be instructions, it could be a little thing in a newspaper, it could be a QR code. That is your advert for then to have a call to action to the people that you are trying to apply to.
Yeah.
What else have we got from this? What other big points have we got from that?
Language. I think the tone and the language that you use is such an important one. The last thing I had just on language, and again, it's kind of nice that it ties into that, is Spotify. They've just got a slogan, and the slogan is "Join the band," and it just creates this sense of like teamwork, collaboration, and is relevant to like the core aspects of Spotify. So that's just a nice little way of just changing it slightly, isn't it?
Yeah.
That will be like join the squad and stuff like that, but everybody says that.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's like join the band, again, it's just attracting the right kind of people that would buy into that and find that appealing.
Yeah, I think it is just about honing in on what your values are, what your culture is, and really trying to get that across in whatever advert you're doing, and find the advert that works for you. Because like obviously instructions, that works for Ikea, that's not going to work for Spotify, and vice versa.
Yeah. Nice. Know your audience, understand your EVP, which is?
Employee value proposition.
Which essentially could be rephrased slightly to, your USPs, understand what you're good at, what makes you different, shout about those things that make you different, and be specific. Go out with the intention of getting applications from the right people rather than a lot of people.
Preach it, sister.
Nice.
Finish
Nice
it there.
roundup. Yeah.
Finish it there.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Great, fab. Fantastic. Well done, guys. God, we always have such good conversations, don't we? Bloody hell.
Love the home
That's
team
excellent.
sit downs.
Cheers, everyone, for listening. Tune in.
Adios.
Goodbye.